Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. This is going to be a little bit on the personal note, but like I say, I share some of my personal things because I need some feedback. And some of the stuff I share because like I say, I want to make sure I'm doing things right. But one thing I've noticed is I am frugal. And for one thing, my lifestyle, I kind of pretty much live out of a suitcase. Well, if not a suitcase, I live out of my car. So the more stuff I have, the more load that I've got to be concerned about. And I try not to be, I don't want any more headache than I have to. So being frugal really helps. It's like I say, I don't have that many clothes. That's why you see me wear a lot of times. I wear the same clothes over and over again. I don't have that much, and because like I say, I don't need that much. But it's funny. The reason I'm mentioning this is I've been learning. Frugal is an art. Trying to figure out what you need. And then if you need something, how much do you spend on it? Do you get good quality, you pay the price and get good quality, or do you just pay a little bit, get some cheap because you're going to use it, you're going to lose it, or it's a one-time thing or something like that? There's all kinds of things that I have to consider when I'm being frugal. And it's funny, even down here, like I say, my auto mechanics I treat just like my doctor, and that's it. I want their opinion, what's going on, and then I want to know what they think is the problem, and then I'll get a price, and the price should be reasonable. I don't mind paying depending on, like, say, are you getting good quality work, you're getting good quality, this type of stuff. So it just kind of depends on that kind of stuff. So being frugal is an art. But I mention it because I've been getting my car worked on, and I've been getting some labor down here is really inexpensive. I talked about the dental work. I can't even imagine spending $200 in dental work. That's maximum. I normally spend less than $50 on anything. So labor is really inexpensive. But I've noticed I still get different auto mechanics. My car, because my car is my home, I travel a lot. Normally on weekends, I try to take off somewhere. A lot of it is when I have somebody with me. But I say, I try to go places, I try to do things. And my car takes a beating. So most of my expenses in my life is maintaining the car. That's one reason why I don't like a good car, because I tear up my car so bad. The roads are really, really bad here. So there's a lot of abuse going on. So the mechanics I've known, I go to different mechanics trying to find the ones that don't treat me like a gringo. And so they give me good quality work at a fair price. Not necessarily cheap, but at a fair price, especially not a gringo price. And so it's not that easy being frugal, and it is something that you work on. I've made a lot of mistakes before on being cheap. There's a difference between being cheap and being frugal, but there's times that I would get cheap and I should have got a better quality whatever, and there's times when I've spent too much. One time I spent like $150, $200 for a pocket knife, and I was on a boat, and the boat was sinking, and so I pulled out my knife and I started cutting everything loose, and and then I dropped my knife. And the water was maybe only 8 foot deep. So, but the thing was, I kept going down and feeling if the water was, you couldn't see, so I had to feel to find my knife. And I did find it. And the thing was, everybody thought I was drowning. I would come up, get some air, I'd go back down again. So everybody thought I was drowning. And but that's when I learned on a knife, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on that type of knife. Now I got another knife, a Bowie knife, that I would mainly, I have it for combat and survival. That is good quality. I paid some bucks for that. And but that's not one that I carry, and when I use it, it's used for a specific good reason. My life is on the line. So then I don't mind spending the money. It's funny because I had a cheap pocket knife, and I used to get them by the box, $1 a piece, because I'd lose them. So then that's why I had this. And I was chipping away some ice, and then I noticed it stopped chipping. I couldn't figure out, well, why did it stop chipping? And when I stopped and I looked at it, the end of the knife was bent over. So in other words, the steel was so cheap, it bent. And so I was thinking, man, luckily I wasn't underneath the ice trying to get out. So that's when I learned you don't want cheap. So you really have to think hard when you're being frugal. And I say, we never, with my wife, we never had any problems when she told me, I'm being too cheap, stuff like that. No. So I'm not really cheap, and at least it's never been brought to my attention. Normally it's just when I'm being cheap, it's brought to my attention through my own actions. Nobody's mentioned it to me. If you really want to get the most out of your money, you need to think frugal, and that will change the way you live your life also. Because like I say, you have extra when you're being frugal. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.